Now, I'm all for metaphors and using equivalents and all this cool, clever stuff to explain things to people. But there is a problem that we have. And that's what I'm going to explain to you today in episode 1015 of the Daily Sales Message podcast, where every single day I share a piece of simple and actionable advice that's designed to help you feel more confident and sell more stuff too. Now, I call this the abstraction trap. The abstraction trap. Sometimes we have to compare things. So it's a bit like Facebook, but it's for dogs or whatever it happens to be. That's an equivalent example. We make a comparison, or we have like a metaphor or something, you know, we're both in the same boat. Blah. We use all these kind of things. There's a famous one from the UK version of The Office, which I love, which is like, you see the Office is like the pie and like the people are the fruit, and he's just getting into this really, really complicated explanation. And that's what I'm talking about today, and I call that the abstraction trap. So we make a comparison to something, and the cup of coffee a day is one of my best examples, because nothing really is equivalent to the price of a cup of coffee a day per se, because nobody's buying a £5 a cup of coffee every single day, I wouldn't have thought. But when you compare something to something, and then it just doesn't really work. So sales is a bit like a cup of coffee, because the coffee is like the money, and the cup is that's the messaging piece, obviously, and the lid, well, that's sealing the deal, and you just end up bastardizing what you're doing to fit this weird nonsense metaphor, simile, equivalence, whatever you want to call it, that you've come up with, and far from explaining it to somebody, you just lose them. So the best get around for this is to not even compare it to anything else, is to go back to the 4 golden letters of Clear Sales Message. What that means is, and that's how we go from feature to benefit. So sales is a bit like this, and what that means for you is this. So rather than you expecting me to understand what a cup of coffee is and how it compares to sales and blah, 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 and it's all too complicated, you tell me what it means to me, and I can tell you if I care about it or not.